Hi there, it's Sandra. If you have watched some of my previous videos, you would know that I have shared a little bit of information about how I've come to receive some of God's love and the effect that it had on me, as well as the source of the information that God's love is actually available on earth, which is through Jesus and Mary Magdalene being back on earth. So Jesus and Mary teach God's truth through the divine truth teachings, and they talk about how it's possible to actually receive this love and how this love has this redemptive power and can change even the vilest sinner to an angel. This is the crux of it. But before Jesus and Mary actually arrived on earth, they were trying to convey this message of God to people on earth, and they've tried several mediums over time since obviously entering the spirit world to be able to pass on the message in the most accurate way. And it wasn't until 1914 when they found a man called James Padgett, via whom they were able to accurately channel God's truth through automatic writing that James was practicing. So via James, Jesus, as well as many of the apostles, as well as prophets from the Old Testament, as well as many other people, have expounded God's truth, have shared how they've come about to learn about God's love, the processes they went through to receive God's love, and the gift that God's love is, and how much it has helped them to be the most happiest people and have a relationship with their Father, and how we can achieve that as individuals. Importantly, the channeled material conveyed by Jesus and other celestial spirits to James Padgett corrects all the error that is contained in current Christian beliefs and teachings and dogmas, as well as the misconceptions, misconstrusions, misinterpretations, and lies that are in the Bible. The reason they did that is obviously so that people know God's truth that has been so embellished on earth and keep people from actually having a relationship with God. So their desire has always been and always will be for humanity to actually have this relationship with our Heavenly Father. After James Padgett passed away, his friend, who was actually present while James channeled these messages via automatic writing, called Dr. Leslie Stone, had the mission to actually compile the messages, type them out, as well as print them. So he was the first original publisher of the messages. There are about 2,500 messages that James Padgett received, and likely more. But the work that Dr. Leslie Stone did was to actually put them into printed material. He compiled the messages by subject matter, and there are 4 volumes titled True Gospel Revealed Anew by Jesus, received through James Padgett, and is now being published by the Foundation Church of the New Birth. So Jesus and Mary have actually purchased several volumes to give away to people as they travel. They've just gone to the UK, to Europe, US, and Canada, and they have shared these books, and they're passionate about these books. They want people to know the true gospel that Jesus came to teach when he came to earth in the first century as well as now, and also via these messages received through James Padgett from 1914 till 1921, I think it was. It is essential that if we want to actually learn about God and have a relationship with God, is that we understand the mission that Jesus had and what was his actual role. What role did God give him to actually share God's truth? And there are so many, once again, errors, misconceptions, misinterpretations that are not true and are prohibiting people who are Christian and others who are not, and atheists, from actually having any communication with God that is personally based via the reception of God's truth and God's love into our souls. And because these books contain the most accurate and truthful representation that came directly from Jesus and his apostles and other celestial spirits, they have been considered to be actually the second coming of Jesus before him and Mary discovered how to actually come back to earth and teach God's truth in person. Since the books have minor grammatical and other errors that are more cosmetic than anything else, there is a small team dedicated to correcting those, and so that Jesus America can actually publish their messages in a better format that is easier to read. I'm currently responsible for writing the footnotes for these books, so I get to learn about a lot of the people that are the authors of the messages and research them and have the pleasure of meeting them in spirit at times. But importantly, I also get to reflect on what is taught in the Bible. What does the Bible say? So I'm very excited about actually comparing what was the truth, who wrote what wasn't written by the apostles, and all this really, really important information I get to sort of do research on. And the importance of this is that those of you who have actually in your heart something doesn't sit right and you want to know the truth, this gospel revealed anew by Jesus is pertinent to your understanding of what was actually said and what wasn't actually said, and to understand the actual true mission of Jesus. Why did he come and what was his actual message? This is vital for Christians, vital for anyone that isn't a Christian, that doesn't even entertain the idea of God. It's just important information for the future of our lives. Very, very important. And this is why I feel so passionate in my desire to be able to share not only some of the messages that I want to actually talk about, but also that God's love is actually here for us to have. And its immense power to change the human soul into a new creature, its potential to make us happy, to have gifts that we have never even conceived of possible of having. And this is what I feel passionate about, and this is what I would like to share with the world. And I cannot think of a better way than to actually share these messages with you guys. And hopefully when you discover some of this as reality, you will also want to not just learn the truth, but also share the truth with others as well. So my prayer is that everyone does receive God's love, that everyone has this relationship. Because of the little bit that I have gotten to know God, I just think there's nothing better and nothing compares. So I do feel that I would love for all my brothers and sisters to also have this experience. So my future videos will be going through some of the messages, beginning with the introduction to James Padgett and Dr. Leslie Stone's testament of what actually happened, how it came about that he ended up printing these books and having the privilege of sitting down with James and experiencing the great truths taught to them and shared by Jesus and his celestial spirits. Okay, so thanks for listening, and you'll be hearing from me again soon. Bye for now.